a comfortable seat. Oh, hi. Hi. I couldn't resist scrolling through one more time so I could see your faces. And I'm going to just assume that's Liz from my women's circle because I don't know. It just says it's Liz. Ooh, yeah. All right. So come into your upright seat. We're starting however is most comfortable for you to sit right now. And this is a class which is taking into account where we are right now seasonally, and hopefully a class that's taking into account also where you are emotionally, physically, energetically. But I'm starting with a focus on Kapha dosha because in Ayurveda, the sister science of yoga, spring is the season of Kapha dosha. And Kapha is made up of the elements of earth and water. So it's heavy. It's somewhat mobile because water moves, but predominantly it's kind of a rooted element. And Kapha dosha, you might see it expressing itself in the season of springtime in that like there's a lot of rain. That's the water element. And when there's a lot of rain meeting earth, then there becomes mud. And so Kapha dosha, when it's healthy, when it's balanced, gives us a sense of community, of tribe. It's like how we connect at the very root of our being to what sustains us and what is life-giving for us, right? Think about soil that is abundant and rich and plentiful nutrients, and we need the water and we need the earth to generate that source of sustenance. And Kapha, when it's out of balance, as all the doshas will go out of balance because that is their nature to do. Dosha as a word means that which goes out of balance. Kapha out of balance gets very lethargic and heavy and kind of stuck in the mud, bogged down. And symptoms of an out of balance Kapha dosha can look like lethargy, tiredness, I want to sleep all day, craving for comfort foods that then maybe make the system feel even more heavy. So we can work wisely with knowing where we are in the season of things and also knowing where these presence of the doshas are in our own bodies and our own constitutions to balance them, rebalance them. And everybody has all three doshas in a unique proportion, just like a seasonal cycle includes spring, which is Kapha season, and summer, which is Pitta season. There's like hot, fiery, transformative energy. And you can see how that goes out of balance too. And we're like getting rashes and feeling overheated and hot-headed, and everybody pisses us off. And then in Ayurveda, we lump late fall, early winter all into Vata season. So Vata, the third dosha, made up of elements of air and ether, which is like light, mobile, can be spacey and scattered, but also very creative. So just to be clear, there's no best dosha. We're not going to strive to like be the best dosha. Just like there's no best season, you can have a preference, you can have a place where you feel most comfortable. But recognizing that we're in the Kapha season right now, and what does it look like to work with that through our yoga practice? So we're going to start with Kapalabhati breathing, or the breath of the shining skull. Take some of that heaviness, the lethargy, the tendency to despair or not want to move or feel like we kind of can't get out of our own muck. We're going to take some of that energy and lift it up, bring balance. So let's just practice the exhale breath that is part of Kapalabhati. As you exhale, it's coming forcefully out the nose and the belly is drawing back toward the spine. So you can snort, feel the belly move, and maybe have a tissue or a hanky handy. Okay, so we know what that feels like. Now we're going to take the pace up a little bit, and I will count it for you. If it works, you can follow my pace. If you want to make your own pace for this breath, please feel free. So hands rest on the lap, full inhale, and complete exhale. And then we'll take a shorter inhale, maybe just to halfway. And then we're going to breathe out, 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 out. Out, 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 out. Good. Keep going out, 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 out. Exhale all the way. Really nice. Inhale, open your eyes, sweep your arms out and up. Wiggle your fingers, and exhale, bring your hands down into the heart. And let the inner body rise up into that space that you're creating. Hands into your lap. We're going to go a second round. Full breath in. And let it all the way out. And then breath halfway in and exhale. X, 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 exhale, let it go all the way out. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hands come into the heart. And we have one final round, hands resting in your lap. Full breath in. Full breath out. And preparing for Kapalabhati, inhaling halfway. X, 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 exhale. All the breath goes out. Natural breath in and out through your nose. Inner body bright. Open your eyes. And stretch your legs out in front of you. And I would tell the story that just wiggle your ankles around here, roll your shoulders, get loose a little bit. Feel what's moving, maybe some of the stagnation, or if you've been sitting or stationary today, there's a little bit more movement, there's a little bit more upward sense of energy in the body. Rolling your ankles, the story of the Kapalabhati breath being counted that way, like as I was saying, X, X, X. I learned that from a Buddhist teacher named Cindy Lee, who I love, but it always makes me laugh because in middle school, the joke was like, say X 10 times fast, and then the person says X, and then you go, you're saying sex, and then you fall apart and you laugh uncontrollably for like 9 minutes. And I always think about that when I'm doing Kapalabhati breath. Okay, so your feet are wiggled out, and then I'd like you to rest your hands on your thighs and point the feet halfway. So we're reaching forward through the balls of the feet, and then point the feet all the way, but think about making your toes long, not crunching up the toes. Right, and then come back to that half point where the reach is through the balls of the feet, and then draw the toenails back toward the shins and have full flexion in the ankles. And let's go through that again. Half point, balls of the feet reach, full point, toes get longer, half point, reach through inner and outer edges both, and then draw it all the way back. We'll do that one more time. So coming into extra awareness and attention of the feet, because the feet are in a way like the root of the body, down where kapha dosha is like the root dosha. Good, and then let's come to half point through each foot. So we're reaching through the balls of the feet, and notice, can you reach more through the big toe ball mound? Can you reach more through the pinky toe ball mound? And can you press equally with inner and outer edges of the feet? This is going to inform how we do a lot of standing postures and balance poses, and also can get us curious about how we walk, how we use the feet when we walk. And then we're going to fully point the right and flex the left, and the right toes get longer, not crunched. And then we'll come back to half point on each foot, and then we'll flex the right and point the left. Yeah, and then halfway, each foot reaching through the ball of the foot. Point the right, flex the left, and this is where the brain has to work. Halfway, point the left and flex the right. Halfway, inhale the arms up, forget about your feet for just a moment. And exhale, hands come down to the heart. Really nice. And then we're going to take both knees in and make a little blanket or a basket out of the hands. And we're going to put the sole of the right foot into this basket. And now it's not about where your right foot can go, but it's about pressing the foot into your hands. So can you press through the big toe side of the foot, and then press a little more through the pinky toe side of the foot. As you alternate where you're pressing foot into the hands, the ankle might oscillate a little bit, and the foot might be like, if you think about a fan that can oscillate side to side. Good. And then press a little more through your heel, and through the toes. So the full foot is really pressing and you're really hugging back. The arms are working. You might shake even a little bit. And then root into your left foot on the floor and extend that right leg as straight as it wants to go for now. Yes, lovely. And if you want to, you can slide your left leg out long. Lift your heart. Your shining skull goes straight up to the ceiling. And now bright through both feet. Fan out your toes. Release your hands. Can that right leg stay where it was? Really nice. And a circle one way. And a circle the other way. And an inhale breath to lift the heart. And an exhale to lower. And then fists come right up to the top of the right thigh. And we'll just give a loving pummel to the hip flexor on the right side. And I'm missing seeing you all because on the phone screen that I have, you're like a postage stamp. And I've been spoiled by the iPad screen where you're like the size of a coaster. Good, second side. Both knees in. Basket, lace up your fingers the weird way. Bring the ball of the left foot into your hand. Hug the knee toward the chest here and then really press with the foot. Resist with the arms. Can you draw the shoulders onto the back? Keep the right toes awake. And then a little bit of that side to side play. So you're pressing more with the pinky toe side. You're pressing more with the big toe side. You're exploring the sensation of your foot against your hand. In this time of social distancing and less physical touch, really nice to offer your body some curious, loving, physical touch. So we just notice this is what it feels like to hold my own foot. And then pressing through the whole of that left foot, take the leg up any amount. Really nice. Fan out your toes. Reach through your heel. Lift your spine. And if you want to, extend the right leg long on the floor and release your hands. Leg stays where it is. Circle one way. Circle the other way. Inhale the spine tall. Exhale, lower. Little self-massage on the top of the left thigh bone. Sides can be nice too here. Come out a little bit onto the glute. Tell those hip flexors they can loosen up, they can relax. Really nice. And then crisscross your ankles and roll up and over and come into table pose. And come into your table pose with your toes tucked under. And I'm going to make an investigation to see whether I can transfer over to my iPad. So once you get to your table pose, we're going to keep a neutral spine here. We're not doing cat and cow. We're keeping the natural neutral curves in the spine, the toes tucked under. And as you inhale, I'd like you to shift your shoulders forward towards your fingertips. So the whole of the spine moves forward. And as you exhale, bring your hips back towards your heels only as far as you can go without distorting the curves in the low back. So we're not going to super round the low back. And then continuing like this on the breath. Inhale, sweeping forward. And exhale, melting back. So it's an exploration for the bottoms of the feet, the toes that are tucked underneath you. It's also an exploration of where the breath is right now as we start to smooth it out. Hang up a big welcome sign on your back body to your breath, and your low belly to your breath. Good. And when you're done here with your last exploration, hinging back and hinging forward, let's come back up to table pose, stacking the joints. And then we're going to help me figure out a better name for this once upon a time, but I've forgotten it. So we're going to call this, you're like extinguishing a coal, or you're like grinding out a cigarette with your right toe. I don't love that one, but let's workshop it later. So you're in table pose, and you're just going to pop up onto the mound of the right big toe and let the right knee come out wide. And the right toe here is just your contact point. And you're going to let the right hip swivel and swing in and out, pretty loose, pretty soft. Momentum is at play. Good. And then let's do the same thing on the other side. So you're taking the left big toe out from the body. And you're trying to have contact just with the left toe and no other parts of the left foot. But if other toes cheat in a little bit, that's really okay. Swivel the hip in, out. Let it be loose. Good. And then come back to your table pose. Put the tops of your feet on the floor and just tap the tops of your feet. Make a little thunder peal. Boom, 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 boom. Nicely done. Inhale, sink your spine. Exhale, round your spine. Inhale, sink the spine. Tuck your toes. Exhale, press back to down dog. And in your downward facing dog pose, I want you to do what we do all the time in yoga, tread through the feet. But can you do it with really exquisite attention to the experience your feet are having? And maybe move slower. And maybe you're even rolling up onto the tiptoes on the foot that is lifted heel. Maybe you're even rolling up over onto the front of your toes. That's a possibility. Yeah, really nice. Take one more breath here to explore, tread the feet. Nice. And then we're going to lower the knees back to table pose as slowly as we can go. So maybe you give yourself a count of 10, 9, 8, 7. We're stretching the toes as the knees are coming down. 5, 4, 3. They're hovering. Low belly has some tone. And 1. Set your knees down. Hips come back to a full child's pose. Let the back body round. And inhale back to table pose. Tuck your toes and exhale back to downward facing dog. Nice. And this time in your down dog, bending both of your knees pretty deeply. And we're going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh bone, just above the knees. We're coming to figure 4 dog. And now to wake up feet a little bit more here. As you inhale, lift your left heel to lift your sitting bones, bringing the left leg straighter. And as you exhale, try to melt the left heel back to the floor, bending the knees. And we'll do that twice more. Inhale, lift the left heel. Right through the right foot. Exhale, let the heel come down, left knee bends. Last one. Good. And then inhale, unwind your right leg, take it all the way up and back to 3-legged dog. And exhale, bring it under the body, step it between your hands. We're setting left knee down gently on the mat, tapping the top of the left foot on the floor. On an inhale, rise up, Anjaneyasana. And on an exhale, hands come to the heart. Pubic bone zips up to the belly button. Good. Take an inhale breath, bringing the back of the ribs up off the pelvis. And as you exhale, twist to your right. And you could hook the elbow. And then you could drop your brain right down into the experience that your feet are having. And this is one of the places we lose mobility easiest, is in the feet and the toes. Can you spread out the right toes? And maybe here, can you lift up the right heel? Whoa. Good. And then set your right heel down. And can you fan and lift up the right toes? Wobble. And set it down. Take an inhale breath to unwind. Take the fingertips high to the sky. Exhale, touch down and step back. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale, roll forward, plank pose. And as you exhale in plank pose, take your heels back. Take the crown of your head forward. Inhale, take your shoulder blades wide. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin. Inhale, low cobra. Tops of the feet settle down. And exhale back to down dog. And you're doing beautifully. Inhale, breath, both heels lift. Exhale, breath, figure 4 dog. Left ankle crosses over the right shin. Both knees are deeply bent to start. Inhale, lifting the right heel up. Exhale, bending the right knee, melting the heel toward the mat. Twice more. The experience that your feet are having can be a reminder to the kapha dosha here that to stay rooted takes some work. It's not complacency. Then we'll inhale and unwind the left leg up and back. And exhale, step the left foot through. Round the right knee. Set the top of your foot down, and inhale brings you up. And then exhale to gather hands into the heart. And we'll pause and take a moment here. What happens when we nourish our kapha dosha and when we prioritize rootedness, stability, fluidity, is that then the heart, which is, and the belly, which are sort of the places in the body where pitta element lives, that fiery transformative energy, the pitta is modified. It's like the water keeps it cool so we don't get hot-headed and overheated, and the earth keeps it stable and grounded so we don't like burn everything up and then have nowhere to stand. So it's a balance. And take your inhale breath and exhale, twisting to the left. And let's be here for 2 breaths. So culturally speaking, we're in a really pitta-heavy phase of life in general in the West, because the pitta time of life is all about accumulation and transformation and acquiring things and doing things. And pitta's great, but it's kind of a boss already, and it's taking up space that the other 2 doshas need. So inhale, unwind, arms high to the sky. Exhale, touch down and step back. Downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, right away, right heel goes up and back. And as we exhale, we're going to step through, plant the right foot, and this time inhale, rise to your high crescent lunge. Really nice. And as you exhale, lace the fingers together and breathe out your mouth like you're breathing through a straw as you draw the hands down to the solar plexus. Good. Inhale here, draw the elbows away from each other. Wake up your left toes. And as you exhale, you're going to bend the back knee and press the heels of the hands forward. Breath out through the mouth. And then inhale, lifting the back knee and sweeping the arms up overhead. And exhale, bringing the palms down and elbows wide. Good. Inhale, sweeping arms out. Exhale, wrap up left arm over right, either to your shoulder blades or to your eagle wrap. And take an inhale breath, squeezing the forearms, lifting the fingertips, lifting your gaze, and on an exhale breath, lower elbows and lower the back knee, and maybe it taps on the ground, and maybe not. Inhale, come back up, and exhale, coming down, and inhale, rising up, and we're doing 3. Exhale, coming down. And as you inhale, rising up, unwind the arms, reach high. Celebrate the juiciness of the feet as you exhale to touch all the way down to the earth. Inhale, step forward. And exhale, bow, Uttanasana. Good. One more ripple in the spine. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, bow. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, come right back down. Stepping to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg goes up and back, 3-legged dog. And exhale, stepping left foot all the way to the front of the mat. Crescent lunge, inhale, breath brings you up. Exhale like your breath is going out through a straw. Lace the fingers, elbows wide. Good. Inhale here, find the lift in the back of the right leg. Nice. Exhale, bend the back knee, press the heels of the hands forward, then count back. Lift the back knee, reach up through the arms. Exhale, straw breath out the mouth, flip the palms down. And lower. Good. Inhale, arms sweep wide. Exhale, wrap up right arm over left. Eagle arm. Inhale, lift as you squeeze. Tone the low belly. Exhale, right knee dips. And your arms bisect your face, so it's a balance practice in a big way. Your gaze can be soft. Nice. Last exhale breath. Inhale to unwind, reach up. Exhale, touch down. And on your inhale, step forward into your half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, let it go. One more, half lift. And exhale, let it go. Really nice. Inhale, rising all the way up. And exhale, hands come into the heart. And take a moment with your breath, take a moment with your feet. Land where you land. So one of my favorite quotes of all time, if you can't see what you're looking for, see what's there. So often we have an agenda, an expectation, we know what we're looking for. That's very pitta of us. And kapha is going to be like, it's cool, we'll just see what's there. And in this sense, embracing that kapha nature is really beneficial for minds that can get a little over fire. Yeah, take an inhale, one more full deep inhale. And exhale, release your arms. Okay, maybe you can show me with hand signals like thumbs up. Do you have a block or a book or a blanket handy? I see at least several thumbs up. I have to scroll through my gallery. So we're going to go with it. If you don't have a blanket, a block, or a book, don't worry. You can absolutely do all of this practice without one. It's just going to add a little bit of interest and a little bit of challenge for the feet and the legs. If you are outside and you just have your mat, do you have a mat, Julia? Yeah, you could roll up your mat for this one. If that doesn't feel like too much discombobulation, you could roll your mat and use your mat. So first, we're just going to stand on our own 2 feet and see if you can get your ankles to move side to side. A little sway, like there's a tide rolling in and rolling out. And the tide is just in the ankles. And so as much as possible, we're moving the ankles and not moving the pelvis. We're not going to do it like a big sway. Pelvis might move a little bit, but just to notice, what is the possibility of my ankles doing some movement? And if you're not looking down at your ankles, roll up your pants and look down and see the movement in the ankles as you practice this, side to side. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then we're going to take the thing that we have for a prop, whether it's a rolled mat or a blanket or a block or a book. We're going to stand on it with the right foot. And tap your left toes on the ground like a kickstand, so you're connected for the time being through both feet. And have the intention to soften the ankle of the standing leg. So right ankle is a little bit soft, and then we're going to flex the left foot, just like we did when we were sitting down. Flexion at the left ankle, so you're standing on a block and an air block, or the ground and an air blanket. Good. And then take a moment here, hands on your hips, to feel is the pelvis level. And if you're not sure, hike up that left hip and then dip that left hip down and see where it definitely is not level, if it's higher or lower. And can you find that middle path? Nice. You can look down at your right ankle and see if there's movement there. Just what a gift that our ankles can provide this stability. That movement is essential. That movement is necessary to help us balance. Good. And then we're going to step off the block. Oh no, I just remembered. We're going to stay on the block. Lift the left knee up, externally rotate it, and come to tree pose. So left foot lands anywhere except the knee joint. Bring hands into the heart. Good. Full breath in. Full breath out. And the stability of kapha dosha is at play here. And the groundedness that we feel through the standing leg, the root of the tailbone. Let's lovingly welcome the water element of kapha dosha. As you grow branches and the arms move fluidly, can the breath stay fluid, smooth, not over-efforting? Take a minute to let your eyes see what they see. Yeah, if you're outside, you can see some extra trees for us. You can grow our forest. And then release your leg and step down. Shake out anything that wants to shake. And if you're like me, I'm always surprised at how much work that is for the standing leg, and particularly around the ankle joint. It's a lot of work. Let's go right to the second side. Left foot, if you have something that you're standing on, left foot comes up on your support. Kickstand with your right toe. When there is stability, flex the right ankle. pelvis level. And then take a couple dips with the right hip, lowering it down and lifting it up. So right hip is on a little invisible elevator. It's like Charlie and the Great Glass Foot elevator. Up and down, and then find the middle path. Root the tailbone, lift the right knee, externally rotate at the thigh, and find your tree. And I'm on a new mission here to replace a really outdated, unfortunate phrase, grow a pair, with grow a branch. Grow a branch is so much more uplifting. It's like, okay, let me photosynthesize, let me receive, let me wave in the breeze, let me bear fruit or be a home for animals. These are like things we could aspire to. Right, so you're out here with your limbs of your tree as expressions of kapha dosha. So we're stable, we're grounded through the standing leg, and we're fluid, we're mobile. The breath doesn't have to pause, the breath doesn't have to get shallow. Really lovely. On your next exhale, step down and shake out and roll your shoulders. Beautiful. You can take your prop and slide it out of your way for now. Make your left hand into a loose fist with the thumb inside the fingers. Bring your right hand and wrap it around the left, like this is a little, what goes inside a ball of pastry dough, something yummy like a fruit. And then we're just gonna take the feet and slowly walk, a walking meditation forward with exquisite attention to the experience your feet are having, inner edges, outer edges, the toes, the ball of the foot, the heel. And then take this walking meditation backwards, really noticing the juiciness of the feet. Can you roll through the ball of the foot, over the arch and down to the heel? It's like a really juicy process here, just to walk with attention on the experience the feet have. Nice, and then if you're back behind the front of your mat, walk back up, bring yourself into the front of the mat. No hurry. Good, and when you get there, release your hands. Take an inhale breath, sweep out and up. Exhale breath, deep bow over your legs. Inhale breath, right toes step to the back of your mat. Your heart, your eyes arrive at the same time as your right heel extends into the space behind you. Really nice. Exhale, lower that right knee down. Top of the foot soft on the earth. Inhale, rise up. This time, exhale, twisting to the left. And then put your left hand at the low back, right on the sacrum, and inhale, sweep the right arm high. And you can take a little back bend. So as we lift up out of the root, out of the foundation of stability, the groundedness of earth and the fluidity of water, that's what supports this right arm in the air. That's what supports us reaching up to our fire into the ether. Wiggle your fingers. And exhale, unwind, bring both hands down to the floor. Inhale, chug the hips back, flex the left toes, and exhale, bow. Heart goes right over the left thigh bone. And then inhale, we're going to rebend and rise up. If your knee pops like mine, you're in good company. And exhale, touch down, chug the hips back, lift the left toes. Good. Last one, just like that. Inhale up. Tuck your back toes under for this one. Exhale, release. Chug the hips back. Nice. So now as you inhale, you're going to come to centered pelvis, so right in between the two legs. And as you exhale, you're going to lift the back knee. And then, weird, I know, you're going to bend the back knee and keep the front leg straight. And maybe the left toes have to lift up, but maybe the toes reach long and forward. And you might feel this in the outer edge of the left shin, like the tibia is getting a fun stretch here. Really nice. One long breath. And then if it feels within the range of possibilities, you could plant your right hand and inhale your left arm up. Good. Exhale, shoulders onto the back. Inhale, rising up out of the wrist. Exhale to touch down, and we'll step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, rolling forward, plank pose. Exhale, lowering knees, chest, chin. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, roll down to the floor. Slide your fingers back so that the fingers are in line with your elbows. And as you inhale, make the legs really awake, make the toes really awake. And then start lifting the thighs. Can you lift the thigh bones up? Can you press into the floor and lift the thigh bones so much if you rise to upward dog? Yeah, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Beautifully done. Full breath in and full breath out. Inhale, the heels lift. Exhale, hop or step to the front of your mat, Uttanasana, rising all the way up. And exhale, right back down. Good. Second side, stepping the right toes back. Right heel is reaching, heart and eyes are arriving at the same time. Yeah, and now I got a little bit of confusion moment where I'm not sure if this is the first side or if this is the second side, and I think it's actually the first side again. So we're going to switch. Switching sides. Nice job. We'll set the back knee down. And inhale, rise up. And exhale, twist. Opening the chest to the right. Reaching forward through the left fingers, back to the right. Inhale, coming through center. And exhale, as you touch down, the hips chug back and the right ankle flexes. Toes up toward the sky. And we'll do that 2 times more. Your own pace. Your own affirmation to the elements that are earthy and watery in your own nature. We need that. Good. On the last of these, we're going to tuck the back toes under, reach it up. Exhale, touch down. And then pop the hips up. And bend the back knee. And the back knee goes pretty much straight forward. And the right shin bone is reaching. And the shin bone reaches all the way through those right toes down to the floor. You can tent up under your fingertips here. You can press into the ball of the left foot a lot, the foot behind you. And possibly planting the left hand and inhaling the right arm up. And exhaling. And one more full breath. And come back down and step it back, downward facing dog. Good, let's inhale, ripple forward to plank pose. And as you exhale, like you're loading a slingshot here, you're gonna bend the knees and take your hips towards your heels. Yeah, so think child's pose with floating hips. Beautiful. And then we're gonna inhale, ripple back plank. And exhale, load up one more time. Spring is coiling. And inhale, forward plank pose. Good, and exhale back, and then we're gonna keep the hips back here, and we're gonna roll the heels to the left, and as you inhale, ripple your left shoulder over your left wrist, sweep your right arm high, and you come into Vashisthasana. Really nice. Exhale, turn down, plank pose. Inhale, reach back through the heels and forward through the crown. Exhale, load up the spring, hips toward the heels. Inhale, breath. And as you exhale, roll the heels down to the right. As you inhale, you're going to ripple into side plank, legs straighten, left arm sweep. Take a breath. And exhale, touch down. Good. Inhale, big reach through your heels. Exhale, lower all the way to the belly. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, let it go. Slide your fingertips back, hands under the elbows. Inhale, rise up to upward facing dog. And exhale to down dog. Beautiful. Inhale, heels lift. Exhale to the front of your mat. And we'll just take a breath here in Uttanasana if you want to take hands to elbows or palms of the hands under your feet. And relax the sides of your neck. Head heavy. Observing sensation in the body here that might feel like the breath slows down. The heart rate starts to slow down. And what's the experience your feet are having right now? And then unhook whatever hook you might have. And inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, hands come into the heart. Good. And release your hands and open your eyes. I just have to come over and have a check-in and see how everybody's doing. How's everybody doing? My postage stamps. It's like I never had a stamp collection before. Oh my gosh, dork. Okay, I'm so happy you're there. I so miss seeing you bigger. If you're in a room that has an easy to access wall space, please go to your wall. And if not, just please know that everything's going to be great and fine exactly as you are where you are. Don't make this more complicated than it needs to be. We're going to practice some Warrior 2 transitions to Ardha Chandrasana. So some half moon poses and some Warrior 2 flows. And if you've got a wall, I'll angle myself so you could see me at the wall. If you've got a wall, we're going to be right knee bent as we come into Warrior 2 at the wall. So I've got right knee bent. And this is really important if you're at a wall. The outer edge of the right butt can touch the wall. The outer edge of the left butt does not touch the wall. There's space between your left heel and the wall behind you, right? Because we don't want to distort the pelvis. So the pelvis is not going to be either angling straight away from the wall, and it's also not straight forward. It's on a diagonal. Sweep the arms wide, and you can do this even if you're not at the wall. And then roll your belly to the left, so the shoulders are reaching away from the wall, but the hips are not. Beautiful. And then inhale, reverse your warrior. And exhale, right forearm to thigh, left arm over the left ear, right angle. And twice more. Flowing it back. And exhale, long through the left side body. Keep moving the belly to the left here. Inhale back. Good. Exhale, forearm to the thigh. Left arm sweeps over the ear. And then take your gaze down and see your own right toe. And if you have a block and you brought it with you, you could look down and see your block. We're going to rest the left hand on the left hip and scoot that back leg in and in and in until the left leg can lift up. The right arm can come down, and it doesn't have to touch anything. If you have a block there, maybe your fingers are on the block. If you have a floor there, maybe your fingers are on the floor, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're just hovering. And most importantly, if you've got a wall, the right butt is on the wall. The left butt and the left heel are not. So in order not to sink into the muck that could make Kapha dosha think, well, everything's horrible anyways, so I'll just sit here on the couch under my blanket and not participate. We're going to reach down through the right leg and lift the right side of the hip, waist up off the hip. So more space for that joint. Beautiful. And maybe the left arm goes up, and maybe the gaze goes up. And you reach up into your vitality, which is nourished by the stability and the fluidity here, which is balanced by your fiery desire to be awake and present in your life. And you get to notice your toes here, last breath. And then exhale, slowly bend the right knee and step back to your Warrior 2. Nice transition. Inhale, sweep arms up, straighten the right leg, turn all 10 toes in the same direction, and exhale, deep bow over your legs. If you've got the wall behind you, press your butt bones into the wall and enjoy that. Good. Inhale, half lift, come up onto the fingertips, reach the spine. And exhale, deep bow over the legs. Good. And then in the forward fold, What would it feel like if you were to lift both heels? You might have to walk the hands forward and peel the sitting bones off the wall. Could you lift up onto the balls of both feet? Maybe more weight comes into the hands, the fingers, the wrists, and then roll the feet back down to the floor. So we're not plopping onto the soles of the feet, we're articulating through the feet. I'm going to do that twice more. Rock up onto the balls of the feet, really slowly articulating through the juiciness, inner, outer edges, heels, last one. Good, hands walk up to the pelvis, root your legs, rise up. And then we're just going to go second side. So left toes pivot out, right toes pivot in. If you had a block to support you, bring it around towards your left toes. Bend into the left knee for warrior two. So outer left butt, if you're at the wall, can touch. Outer right butt will not. Spin your belly to the right. That's for everyone. Beautiful. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, forearm to thigh. Long line, fingers to toes on the right side body. Inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, hang up a welcome sign for your breath in the back of your waist here, in the space between your shoulder blades. More places that the breath could be welcome. Last round. Exhaling the forearm to the thigh. Pause and really lively up your right foot. Spread out the toes. Can you feel the arch of the foot? Turn your gaze down to your left foot now. Right hand to your right hip and step that back foot in. And we step it in so that we have the stability required to float it up. And the left hand goes down. And then the chest rolls open. The shoulders could possibly touch the wall if you have one. The right heel will not. Lifting up out of the standing leg. Lift the left waist off the left side of the pelvis, off the hip. Take your right fingers up if you're able here to maintain a nourishing breath. If you're able to be sustained by the connection points underneath your left foot and the floor. One more inhale. Wiggle your fingers. Kapha needs to remember it's not too serious what we're doing here in yoga. Bend the left knee, reach the right leg back, warrior two pose. Inhale, arms gather, 10 toes in the same direction. Exhale, deep bow over your legs. Good. And then we're going to bend right knee and walk over to the right. And then keep the right knee bent and walk your hands over to your left leg. And then we're going to thread the right arm underneath the left arm, and right hand can maybe grab hold of the left shin or calf or ankle, or maybe it just hangs out in that neighborhood and practices social distancing. And if you've got hold of your left leg, you draw the chest in toward the left thigh. And maybe you even float the left hand up to the low back. Deep twist. Good. Lively both feet. Remember that you have feet. And exhale, unwind, squaring the hips, letting the head be nice and heavy. Walk out on your hands so that you can practice 3 little lifts. Heels come up. And 3 slow, juicy lowers. And if you want to add on, as you're inhaling up to the balls of the feet, you could even take like a little mini releve up onto the tops of your toes, or maybe even a little hop. So your feet might leave the earth, boop, just for a minute, and then come back. Good. And then we're going to bend the left knee and walk the hands to the left. Do you still have contact between your right pinky toe and the ground? Yeah, and then left knee stays bent, and we'll walk toward the right leg. Keep the right hand planted, thread the left arm under. Possible that we're holding on now to the right shin or ankle, and we're melting the chest toward the thigh. You could spin your right hand up to the low back, twisting a little bit more. And then on an exhale, level the hips. Let the spine drape and drip toward the floor. And we're just going to heel toe, the feet underneath the pelvis. And if this feels okay on your back, you can bend your knees and slowly roll up the spine. Head heavy, shoulders soft. Make it to standing, and maybe you roll the shoulders down. And you drop the mind down into the feet, and you notice just what it feels like to live in your feet for this next breath. Good. And then, since I know we don't all have walls, let's go back to the mat. I'll orient my camera back to the center of the room. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. So an opportunity here to have an inversion practice. And if you practice inversions regularly and you're really comfortable doing it without a blanket, I'm fine with you doing it without a blanket. If you're like, I don't know, inversions and I have a weird rocky relationship or a funky track record, or you feel any trepidation about it, blanket can be your best friend. And we're going to set the blanket up if you've got one. And again, you don't need to do shoulder stand inversion here. You can do bridge pose, supported bridge pose, halasana pose, whatever feels good in your body. You can do make it up asana. I will support you fully in that. So if you want to shoulder stand and you have a blanket, here's where the blanket goes, toward the back of your mat, but not all the way at the back edge of your mat. And when you lie down, your shoulders line up with the back edge of your blanket so that there is space between the cervical spine, the back of your neck, and the floor. So it looks like this. Yeah. Exactly. Good. And then we're going to come up first to bridge pose, all together, lifting hips. And this might be your inversion practice today. You could lace your fingers together behind the back, reach the knuckles away from your shoulder blades, reach your thigh bones forward, drag your hips back. Or if you're practicing shoulder stand, you can come up, lifting the heels of the feet. So we practice this now, articulating through the feet. Bring your hands to your low back and support your bridge this way. And then another step, drawing one knee at a time in and up. And then that might give you the counterbalance you need to bring the other leg in and up. And then we can press the low back and the hands together and shoot the toes to the sky. And what tends to happen here is that the chin actually gets smushed in toward the chest. So you can rock back on the head just a little bit. I'm going to come down so I can see how our inversion time is going. Yeah, beautiful. Wise choices. And you take a full breath, and maybe you play with a flexion in the ankles, pressing up through the heels, heels on the ceiling, and then a long reach through the toes, toes on the ceiling, and then that halfway point, balls of the feet reaching. Nice. And then can you do one of each? Flex 1.1, flex 1.1, flex 1.1. Take an inhale breath. And an exhale breath. If you want to come to halasana, you can send your toes back behind you. Beautiful. And then if it works for you to come down from halasana, you can release your hands, unlace your fingers, and use the palms of the hands and the arms to support a slow, controlled release of the spine to the floor. Beautifully done. Go slow, 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 and notice what happens when your heels finally do make it back onto the earth. Beautiful. Fun. And take a full inhale to the belly. And then exhale, big sigh out. One more like that. And let it go. Beautiful. Counter pose here is fish. If you practice fish pose, you know it's a weird one, and it also is a fun one. So I'll demo. You're going to take your blanket out if you had one. You're still on your back body. You bring your chin to your chest. You use the strength of the low belly, and you curl up enough that you can walk the elbows back. Elbows stacked right under the shoulders. And then you lift the heart up, 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 and put it on the ceiling. And this is version 1, fish pose. Squeeze the floor with your forearms, press down, lift the heart. If that's feeling crunchy and your shoulders are not satisfying to you, you can take the version with the arms long. You'll press into the forearms here too. You'll take the heart up and slide up onto the top of the head. The head can support you in fish pose here, as well as the forearms from your elbows to the palms of your hands to your fingertips. And if you want to be an ecologically improbable fish, but an exciting fish, you can take your arms up. Make sure the neck feels comfortable here, not too much crunch or squelch. Or the unicorn fish. And if you want a big, deep core challenge, maybe your legs come up. And then we're going to set that all down. Bend the knees, plant the feet wide, spread the arms out, and then shoulder. Good. Slowing down the breath. And bringing the knees to stillness in the center. Drawing them into the chest. Give yourself a big hug. Rock across the sacrum. And then lay yourself down. Shavasana could happen at the wall. Shavasana could happen without any further ado. Simply resting where you landed. Shavasana could happen after you check in with your body and see if there's a final wiggle, stretch, or shape that it's asking you for. There is time to collect props or cozy layers. There is time here to lean into that aspect of kapha nature, which says, I'll just take her time now. I'm going to put on my socks now. I'm going to get my pillow. You get to lean into the kapha nature when it's time to rest. And it's important to mentally acknowledge when you come into rest, you don't deserve the rest because of the plank pose you did. You don't deserve to invite the body into an experience of ease because you efforted. It's not a mutually dependent relationship here. We come into rest because it's an essential requirement that the body has. And it's an essential requirement that the earth has. Just in the same way that we wouldn't want just one season all the time, although I know people live in places where it kind of is just one season all the time. We really can take some cues from the way that the earth has these periods that are productive. Productive is in air quotes, where things are blossoming and blooming and growing. And then we also have periods where things are decomposing and decaying. The metabolic process that's happening in the earth is also happening in our bodies. And we have times like right now when the impact that humans have had on the planet is less. And we see the way that the earth is making use of this time wisely to replenish, to rest, to rejuvenate. That the skies are a little less smoggy. That animal and plant populations are having space to move and breathe and reemerge. And we can allow for that same respect in our own bodies, in our relationship we have to their needs for rest, for integration, for nourishment. And let the mind rest now. And you could do that by placing your mind down into the soles of your feet and the heels. especially noticing where the heels of the feet are resting on the floor or the grass or the yoga mat. Inviting the backs of your legs to rest, the heels as well as the ankles, the calves, and the hamstrings, and the sitting bones, and the pelvis. You can continue to offer your own loving presence in rest to your belly, your back, to the length of your spine and your heart, to your shoulders, elbows, wrists, and fingers, to the back of the neck and the skin of the face, and to the eyes and their sockets. And please do know that if it's challenging for your mind to accept this invitation to rest, you're not alone. You might offer your mind the reminder that you are actually at this moment held in community, that there are other people experiencing rest alongside you, that there are other people who are working to receive the wisdom and the nourishment that's here as we integrate our practice and as we let go of some of the narrative that we need to be doing, thinking, or achieving. And fill your body with breath and let it go. We'll do this again. Fill the body with breath and let it go. And we could come back into awareness of the body as it is, mind where it is, and the experience that your feet are having right at this moment. Let your brain actively acknowledge your own feet, and then other feet sharing this practice, other toes and ankles and heels. Our brains need to be in community and in synchrony with other brains. You can just know that this is happening now in community. And when you're ready for some movement, you might flex, point, wiggle your toes. You might explore movement at the joints of wrists, or shoulders, or elbows, or knees. Maybe it feels good to take a big, sweet, full body stretch. And in your own time, gather your knees to the chest, roll onto your side. I recommend a breath on the side body, a pause. And see if you can stay rooted as you rise upright. Stay connected to the sense of the pelvis, the hips, the legs, the element of earth and water. Inhale, arms go out and up. And as we reach up, we're lifting out of earth water to encompass fire, air, ether. And exhale, we're bringing it right back down into the heart. So like we're stirring in a giant mixing bowl of the elements here. We'll do that twice more. Inhaling out and up. Gathering what you need. Exhale, hands come into the heart. And on this last round, as we bring the hands back to the heart, I'll chant Om. You can chant with me if you want to. And an appreciation for your practice today, for sharing it in community, for sharing it with me. Please bow your head to your heart and then take your hands down and lightly touch your feet. So a reminder, may your sense of connection stay present as you move through the rest of your evening and your weekend. Thank you all so much for being here.